High above the emerald suffocating density of the Amazon basin, the world suddenly stops. The horizon does not fade, it fractures. Rising through a permanent shroud of swirling white mist are the Tepuis, massive, flat-topped sandstone cathedrals that the local Pemon people call the houses of the gods, and these are the islands in the sky, ancient geological anomalies that stand as silent vertical fortresses against the passage of time. They are not merely mountains, they are time capsules, remnants of a supercontinent that vanished long before the first dinosaur ever walked the earth. Here, the rules of biology and geology are rewritten in the clouds. To understand this landscape, you must look down into the deep, dark cracks of the Guiana Shield. This is some of the oldest exposed rock on our planet, dating back 2 billion years. While the rest of the world was busy being crushed, folded, and reborn into the continents we recognize today, these plateaus remained defiant. They are the survivors of an erosion so vast it spanned eons, leaving behind these isolated pillars of quartzite and sandstone. Each tepui is a biological island, separated from the jungle floor by sheer 3,000-foot cliffs. Because of this total isolation, evolution has taken a different path here. Up on these summits, life has been trapped in a laboratory of stone for millions of years, evolving in complete darkness and high-altitude silence. The ascent is a journey through vertical time. At the base, the air is a thick, humid soup vibrating with the roar of howler monkeys and the relentless hum of insects. But as the vertical walls begin to loom, the jungle changes. The trees become stunted, covered in thick blankets of moss and epiphytes. The temperature drops. The sunlight struggles to pierce the heavy, wet veil of the cloud forest. To climb a tepui like Mount Roraima is to crawl up the side of a prehistoric skyscraper. The rock is slick with ancient moisture, and the wind begins to howl, funneling through narrow chimneys and cracks. By the time you reach the prow, the great overhang that marks the summit, the world below has vanished entirely. You are standing on the roof of the world, and it looks like nothing you have ever seen. The summit is not a peak, it is a labyrinth, a sprawling black lunar landscape of scorched rock and shimmering quartz. There is almost no soil here. The rain, which falls almost daily in torrential bursts, washes away any organic matter before it can settle. In this nutrient-poor wasteland, life has been forced to become predatory. Thousands of carnivorous pitcher plants, found nowhere else on Earth, cluster in the rocky crevices. Their crimson-rimmed traps wait for unsuspecting insects, lured by a nectar that marks their end. These plants do not get their energy from the Earth. They get it from the sky and the blood of the small. Walking across the plateau of Roraima is like navigating a dreamscape of stone. Huge, wind-sculpted monoliths rise from the ground in the shapes of animals, faces, and twisted towers. The ground is littered with raw quartz crystals that catch the rare sunlight, turning the summit into a field of diamonds. Between the rocks lie the black pools, perfectly still, tea-colored basins of water stained dark by tannins. There are no fish here. There are no large mammals. The silence is absolute, broken only by the whistling wind or the distant, muffled boom of a collapsing rock face. Hidden within the cracks of this stone labyrinth are creatures that defy the logic of the modern world. One such resident is the Oreofrenella, a tiny pebble-sized toad with skin like charred coal. Unlike its cousins in the jungle below, this toad cannot hop, it cannot swim. It has lived on this plateau for so long that it has lost the need for escape. When threatened, it simply curls into a ball and rolls away like a stone. It is a relic of a lost era, a living fossil that has seen the rise and fall of empires from its high-altitude fortress. The paradox of the Tepuis is that they are both the driest and the wettest places on Earth. While the rock itself is a desert, the sky is a constant ocean. The clouds are snagged by the high cliffs, dumping millions of gallons of water onto the plateaus every single day. This water has nowhere to go but down. It carves deep, subterranean river systems through the sandstone, creating the world's most remote and unexplored cave networks. These are ghost rivers, flowing through the heart of the mountain until they burst forth from the cliffside in spectacular, gravity-defying waterfalls. This brings us to Tepuis, the mountain of the evil spirit. From its notched rim falls Angel Falls, the highest waterfall on the planet. The drop is so immense, nearly 3,000 feet, that much of the water never actually touches the ground. Long before it reaches the canyon floor, the wind catches the stream and atomizes it into a vast, ethereal mist that drifts for miles across the rainforest. It is a vertical river that turns into a cloud. Standing at the base, looking up at that white ribbon falling from the heavens, the scale is impossible to comprehend. It is nature at its most majestic and its most indifferent. The weather on the summits is a violent cycle of extremes. One moment, the sun is so intense it cracks the skin. The next, a wall of white fog rolls in, reducing visibility to zero and dropping the temperature to a freezing chill. Lighting strikes these plateaus with terrifying frequency, attracted to the high metal content of the ancient rock. It is a landscape of fire, ice, and stone, where the very act of survival is a triumph of evolution. There is a deep, haunting loneliness to the Tepuis. They remind us that the earth does not belong to us. We are merely brief witnesses to a geological story that began billions of years before our species took its first breath. On these summits, time does not move in hours or days, but in the slow, agonizing pulse of eroding stone and the 1,000-year growth of a single lichen. They are the last, truly untouched wildernesses, protected not by laws but by their sheer verticality and the harsh, unforgiving nature of the sky. As the sun begins to set over the horizon, the Tepuis cast shadows that stretch for 50 miles across the Amazon. The peaks glow a deep, bruised purple against the orange sky. Below, the jungle begins its nightly chorus, but up here there is only the wind. We are standing on the remnants of a world that was looking out over a world that is. To stand atop a Tepuis is to feel the weight of eternity. It is to realize that while we may map every inch of our planet, there are places that will always remain beyond our reach, cradled in the clouds, whispering the secrets of a lost world. In the end, these mountains are not just geological features, they are a testament to the endurance of life. They prove that even in the harshest, most isolated corners of our world, nature will find a way to persist, to adapt, and to flourish in silence. They are the silent giants of the south, the sentinels of the sky, forever guarding a history that we are only just beginning to read. We leave the Tepuis as we found them, shrouded in mist, ancient and utterly indifferent to our presence. The greatest mystery of the earth is not what lies beneath its surface, but what remains standing, unchanged, while everything else falls away.